Hi everyone! Welcome back to Salinas Public Library's book recommendation video. I'm Hisela and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite authors, Riley Sager. His books fall into the thriller, suspense, mystery genres, so they're perfect reads for the month of October. He's a literal master at foreshadowing the ending without giving anything away. His books are always so chock full of twists, so you're constantly kept guessing along with the protagonist trying to solve everything, and just when you think you've solved it, he proves you completely wrong. As someone who's gotten really good at figuring out plots very early on, it's not only refreshing but remarkable to be thrown so many twists. So far, he's written 4 novels, and we're going to start today's video by talking about his debut, which is Final Girls. Okay, so the protagonist is Quincy Carpenter. She's your average college girl. She goes on vacation with 5 of her closest friends to a cabin in the Pennsylvania woods. But little does she know that she's going to return home the lone survivor of a horror movie scale massacre, literally without a single memory of what happened that night. So instantly, the press labels her as a final girl, which, to quote the book, is film geek speak for the last woman standing in a horror movie. Now, there's 2 other members to this infamous club. You have Lisa, who lost 9 sorority sisters to a college dropout's knife, and you have Sam, who went up against a sack man during her shift at the Nightlight Inn. So the 3 girls have never met in person. That is until Lisa's body is found dead in her bathtub, her wrists cut, and Sam shows up on Quincy's doorstep. So Sam is something else. She is edgy, she is dark and mysterious. She's evasive about her past and her intentions, so it's not very clear whether or not you can trust her. When new details come to light about Lisa's death, Quincy is thrust into unraveling Sam's truths from her lies and finding out what really happened 10 years ago during the Pine Cottage murders. Okay, so this is something that Riley Sager does a lot. He likes to alternate between the past and the present, and we definitely see that in this book. It switches between the night of the massacre and Quincy's investigation into Lisa's death, but also like Sam's motives. And she does it all while trying to evade the police, hungry reporters, and a potential killer. Honestly, one of the things I love about Riley Sager's book, you basically get 2 stories in one. You definitely get your bang for your buck. So his second book is The Last Time I Lied. So it's set in Camp Nightingale, which is an all-girls camp for the elite of Manhattan, sort of like Gossip Girl, I guess. So 13-year-old Emma Davis is a first-time camper, and she gets placed in the cabin with 3 older girls because she arrives late. Emma can not believe her luck when Natalie, Allison, and Vivian, who just so happens to be like the most popular girl at camp, welcome her into their group and treat her as one of their own. That is until the 3 girls sneak out in the middle of the night and then they're never seen again. So skip to 15 years later. Emma is now a rising star in the New York art scene. So her paintings catch the eye of Francesca Harris White, the very wealthy owner of Camp Nightingale. So she implores her to return to the camp as the painting instructor. Reluctant at first, because who wouldn't be, she eventually decides to return and sees it as a chance to figure out what really happened to her friends. So the story weaves flashbacks leading up to the night of the girls' disappearance into Emma's obsessive investigation in the present. As she digs deeper, Emma finds herself sorting through lies and facing threats both by man and nature. It's my personal favorite just because of how unexpected the ending was. Throughout the whole book, Riley Sager leads you through so many theories of what potentially happened to these girls, who caused it, so you'll be absolutely hooked and you won't be able to put down the page turner, that's for sure. Now, his third book is Lock Every Door. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but mark my words, it's on my list of spooky books to read for the month of October. This one's about a recently heartbroken and just plain broke woman, Jules Larson, who is desperate for a new job and a new place to live. Well, lo and behold, she finds the perfect solution to all of her problems in the classifieds. It's a job as an apartment sitter at the Bartholomew, which is one of Manhattan's most high-profile and mysterious buildings. There's a few rules. She can't have any visitors, she can't spend a single night out of the apartment, and she can't interact with any of the residents who happen to be either rich or famous or both, but the pay is really good, so she happily accepts it. So in the beginning, everything's good. She's getting to know the residents and the staff of the Bartholomew, and she even befriends another apartment sitter whose name is Ingrid. But then the very next day, after Ingrid confesses to her that not everything is what it seems at the Bartholomew, she vanishes. So of course she has to go off and search for the truth about what happened to her friend. So as she's searching, Jules digs deeper into the Bartholomew's dark past and its hidden secrets inside its walls. She discovers that Ingrid is not the first apartment sitter to go missing, which pits Jules against the clock as she races to unmask a killer, expose the building's hidden past, and escape the Bartholomew before her temporary status becomes permanent. Ironically, Sager's fourth book was the first one I read, and it actually made me reconsider the thriller genre and realize that I was a fan. Most of the thrillers I'd read followed similar tropes about missing girls, perfect families who turned out not to be so perfect, which just was not my cup of tea. So I decided to give Riley Sager's fourth book, Home Before Dark, a shot, because why not? And I was blown away. His books are just so unique in their originality and creativity, and they stand well above the rest. So Home Before Dark ventures into the supernatural. Maggie Holt moved into Baneberry Hall, which is a Victorian mansion in the Vermont woods, when she was a little girl. Her family only lasted 3 weeks before fleeing in the middle of the night. Her father, Owen, actually wrote a nonfiction book called House of Horrors, where he talks about their ghostly encounters and experiences with malevolent spirits, and it became a worldwide phenomenon. 25 years later, Maggie Holt is now a restorer of old houses. She was too young to actually remember anything about what her father wrote in the book, so she's a firm non-believer. Does not believe in ghosts, nothing supernatural, none of that. Her father passes away, she inherits Baneberry Hall, and she decides that she's going to restore the old house herself before selling it, which goes completely against her mother's wishes. So while she's renovating, she stays at the house, and strange things start to happen, which make her start to question whether her dad's book is more fact than fiction. Sticking to his writing style, Home Before Dark alternates between passages from her father's best-selling horror memoir and Maggie's stay at Baneberry Hall. Both lead up to the night in which her family fled, and by the end of the book, you discover the real reason behind why they left. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of Riley Sager, so I literally recommend any of these books. They'd be great reads for October. As usual, I've made sure to include all of the links down in the video description, both for books in our catalog as well as ebooks and e-audiobooks. One thing to note is that we just ordered Home Before Dark, so it's not quite ready for checkout yet, but there is an e-audiobook available that you can check out. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you, and until next time.